Hi, we're the founders of Ladies and Gentlemen Studio. My name's Dylan.
And I'm Jean.
And we're here with Design Milk for the DMTV Milkshake. Our studio is an interdisciplinary studio that's based in Brooklyn, and we design lighting, furniture, and a variety of design-based experiences. And Design Milk has invited us to answer a set of questions about our work. So
So we're gonna draw from a random set of questions from Bowl. Let's see. Let's start with one. If you could pick 3 words to describe LNG Studio, what would they be?
Yeah, we have a lot of words that we use to describe ourselves, but the ones that really stand out and what we kind of have consistently concentrated on over the years is elemental. So this idea of getting at the essence of a design concept or an idea that we're exploring.
And yeah, and I think the other word would be intentional. So often have like a intention of how we want to express the materiality of something, or the function, or the purpose, or even the feelings that we kind of want to evoke in how people perceive or use our products.
Yeah. And then I think the third that comes to mind is this element of the unexpected. And one thing that we're always trying to evoke in our work is this idea of having a sense of wonderment in the world. So whether that's wonderment in something that's a very mundane thing, to nature, to anything, like we really believe that design has the power to make people that engaged in their environment through things that maybe they don't expect or see every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
My turn. All right. Your work seems to play a lot on duality and opposing forces, as well as balance. Where does that come from?
I think for us, we really like the idea, or going about perceiving and thinking about things in a non-binary, non-black and white way, and that these opposing, we often describe our work as these sort of paradoxical sort of ideas, like playful austerity or simple sophistication. Those are the kind of phrases that most people don't think to put them together, but I think to have the sort of contrast, it's not about deciding that we're one way or the other, but it's like finding the balance of the differences and creating harmony between contrast and different ideas and perceptions.
Yeah, and I think part of that's also just a reflection of how what we see in the real world, that an interest and engagement comes in the unexpected and diversity and sort of breaking norms, but at the same time, if those go too far in one extreme or the other, it throws things off balance. So there's always this need in nature and desire in nature to achieve an equilibrium. So a lot of that coming through in our work is just this notion of following those natural principles.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Your turn.
Okay. All right. So, can you define and summarize your thoughts on new materialism?
New materialism is something that we introduced spoke about in a lecture and essay series that we did for People and Places, event series that's gone on in Brooklyn for a little while now. And we were really trying to get at this notion of the elemental and what sort of drives us to look for the sort of the essence of a form or an object, and a lot of that circles back to materiality. And so there's an interesting subversion that's happened with the idea of materialism, where it's gotten to be very wrapped up in like socio-cultural notions of value that are tied to consumerism primarily. And so we imagine a new materialism being more elemental and getting more at the root and the soul of what makes a material fascinating or really great at its function, and it doesn't have as much to do about like a perceived value or a monetary value. It's really, it is what it is, and design is doing its job to accentuate that and use it to its best.
Yeah, and I think this idea of really celebrating or speaking, trying to bring out the spirit of materials, a very Eastern philosophy that, you know, for example, the Japanese religious term called Shintoism, which that everything has a spirit, and everything, even if it's alive or inanimate, from rocks to trees to wind, you know, it's like a lot of, you know, those ideas of animism, I guess, that things, even if they not obviously living, but in itself, these inanimate objects or materials that we're looking at or exploring holds a story or holds a property, holds a feeling as well. And so it's about us interpreting this material in a new, perhaps, but actually old, more ancient ways of looking at it, but from a very elemental and pure sense. So that's kind of what we're trying to, I think that's something has been like a common through line for our work, but I think just recently we're trying to articulate it in a more clear, clear way.
All right, my turn.
Yeah.
How did LNG get its start?
Oh boy. So Dylan and I met in college in 2001, 2002 or so. And we were in the same industrial design program in Seattle, University of Washington. And we first were colleagues and doing a lot of different group projects. And I think it was after about like 2 years or so, we then ended up, you know, like was drawn to each other's energies and way of working. And so then became a couple. And then from after we graduated, we started to start like making our own designs on the side.
Yeah, after working professionally, there was this sort of desire to be more explorative about design, and that was like one of the things that really drew us together was our sensibilities and our values as designers and creative people. And we realized that we wanted to explore that more and explore that in like a really very personal and explorative and as an evolution of our relationship. So, you know, the studio started just on like the purity of that idea, and it was a sort of after hours part-time thing that happened to grow through a series of fortunate events, and that's a longer story. But we feel really lucky to have the opportunity to make work and explore and have people appreciate it. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of all the time that we have this for now. Really want to thank Design Milk for having us and inviting us to participate in the DMTV Milkshake. Make sure to tune in to all the other ones coming soon as well. And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.